In doing so, they recognize that Section 2 still matters. And that is because, as we've shown in Louisiana and elsewhere, racial discrimination in voting still exists. We are here today to ask the court to stand by this truth and to protect the communities who still need the law to ensure that their voices are heard on equal terms. Democracy is only worthy of its name when it represents all of us.
Yeah.
That promise is what is at stake today. Thank you for standing with us.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I'm Congresswoman Terry Sewell, and I proudly represent Alabama's 7th Congressional District, which includes the historic cities of Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, and my hometown of Selma, Alabama. I want all of you to know how very proud I am of the amazing work that our lawyers have done. I want to thank LDF. I want to thank the ACLU. I want to thank the National Redistricting Committee. I could go on and on and on. Lawyers have brought us to this point, and it's been because of the amazing stories of ordinary Americans of why it's important to have fair representation.
Yeah.
We're all here because we believe in this democracy, and we know firsthand what's possible. If any district understands the importance of the right to vote and fair representation, it's my district. And I know that Alabama's in the house. If you're from Alabama, thank you for their busloads that came from Alabama last night. I am also the proud author and sponsor of the John Robert Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. We know that fighting on the front lines to ensure that our democracy works requires all of us to do our part. That means litigators litigating, that means legislators legislating, and that means the people of this nation standing up, standing out, mobilizing and organizing and demanding that we have our democracy be truly representative. And that can only happen with all of us here. You know, it was in my hometown 60 years ago where John Lewis and those foot soldiers were bludgeoned on a bridge. And I have to tell you that I carry that legacy with me. I know that I have the seat that I sit in because our ancestors, our foremothers and forefathers fought for the right to have fair representation. And it is fairer, not fair, but it's fairer than it would be because of the work of so many of you that are here today, our allies, our partners. We couldn't do what we do in Congress without your support, and we definitely could not win a court case like this without your support. You know, since the Shelby versus Holder decision, and I was saying to Cleo Fields, who was in there watching the magnificentness that was Janae Nelson. Thank you, Janae. In 2013, I had the great honor of listening to the oral argument of the Shelby versus Holder case. And I was sitting to the left of John Lewis, and to my right was Sheila Jackson Lee. And while they are not here with us, their legacy looms large. We know that these are fighters. These are folks that believed that the best is still yet to come. Now, we know that progress is elusive, and every generation has to fight to hold on to the progress that we've made and to advance it. But we only advance it if we're moving, if we're doing some action. And we can do that when we mobilize together. Before I take my seat, I want to remind all of you of what John Lewis said on his very last time on that bridge in Selma. John's body was riddled with cancer, but he stood up tall and strong at the apex of that bridge. And he said with a very strong voice, never give up, never give in, keep the faith, and let's keep our eyes on the prize. Thank you all.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Stuart Nafee. I am the manager of the Redistricting Project at the Legal Defense Fund, and I had the great honor today to sit next to Janae Nelson at the council table in the Supreme Court. We stand here today because of the tremendous and unyielding dedication of everyday Louisianans who have organized for years for the promise of fair representation and a fair congressional map. Louisiana and the people on the other side say that we don't need the Voting Rights Act anymore. They say that things in Louisiana have changed and there's no more discrimination and we don't need the Voting Rights Act to protect black people anymore. They say the needs of black voters in Louisiana no longer justify a statute that protects against discrimination. Now, I've talked to my clients in Louisiana and I've visited their communities, and I know and they know that is just not true. There's poverty, there's inequitable access to health care, there's food deserts. All of these things are the result of years of discrimination, and fair representation is the quickest and fastest cure for the discrimination that still prevails all over the state of Louisiana. Now, things have gotten better in some ways. Now we have 2 congressional districts that allow black voters an opportunity to elect candidates as well. That only happened because of the Voting Rights Act. In 1980, in the 1980s, after the Congress amended the Voting Rights Act, the first majority black congressional district in Louisiana was created after litigation in court under the Voting Rights Act. We would not have 1 district in Louisiana without the Voting Rights Act. And then in 2022, we sued Louisiana because they failed to create a 2nd district, even though the population has changed. The black voters now make up 1/3 of the state, and white voters continue to decline as a share of the population, but they continue to hold on to power. That happened because of the Voting Rights Act. So to say that we don't need the Voting Rights Act just defies reality. There is rampant discrimination continues. The Voting Rights Act is the reason we have fair representation, not just in Louisiana, but all over the country, all over the South and all over the country. And we need to continue to fight for the Voting Rights Act. We will not go back to a time when there was no representation for black people from Louisiana. We will not go back to a time when there was no representation for black people in Alabama. We will not go back.
That's right.
Good afternoon. My name is Alana Odoms. I am the Executive Director of the ACLU of Louisiana. Thank you. First black woman in our organization's 70-year history to hold this role. And you all might say that that's black girl magic, but what I want to draw your attention to is Director Counsel Janae Nelson and the black woman work that it took to deliver those arguments in the way that she did. We salute you, sister. We are proud of you. Thurgood Marshall and all of the Director Councils are standing and watching and honoring you. And standing here on these steps, I'm reminded of something. I'm reminded of Dr. Martin Luther King's words from the March on Washington, that when the architects of our republic, the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American would fall heir. It was a promise that all people, black and white, brown, would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And voting being the most sacred of all of our rights as Americans. But Dr. King told us that America had defaulted on that promise and that the check-marked justice had come back stamped insufficient funds. And so here we are again, generations later, still asking the same question. When will this country make good on what it put down on paper? That question was a question that Oliver Brown asked 70 years ago in Brown versus Board of Education. And it is the same question that the Robinson plaintiffs are asking today in Calais versus Louisiana. This case is as seismic as Brown, because just as Brown tested whether America would dismantle the legal framework of segregation, Calais will test whether we will protect the political power of Black Americans and communities of color or allow the inertia of discrimination to pull us backward. My grandmother, Sally Georgiana Odoms, was born in Newport News, Virginia, just about 20 miles outside of Jamestown in 1930. She came of age under Jim Crow, when discrimination and racial segregation were not just social norms, they were the law. The inertia of discrimination was built into the system itself. Power kept it running. Only resistance could interrupt its motion. That inertia didn't end with Jim Crow, though. It simply evolved. Today it hides behind new names, voter integrity, a colorblind constitution, partisan gerrymandering. Yet we all know what this case is about. It is about racial gerrymandering. And we know that voter suppression continues to live on in the state of Louisiana, all across the American South and across this nation. The tools have changed, my friends, but the intent has not. To dilute the political power of Black communities and communities of color, and to maintain the imbalance of representation. That is what Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act was designed to prevent. It doesn't ask what's in someone's heart. Again, as Justice Jackson brilliantly argued, it doesn't ask about discriminatory purpose. It looks at the effect. And the effect in Louisiana is clear. The old maps denied Black voters an equal voice. And when a fair map was created at last, giving Black voters a second opportunity district in a state that is 1/3 Black, what happened? A group of white residents sued, calling it violation of the Equal Protection Clause. Now the Supreme Court is determining and answering a dangerous question: whether remedying racial discrimination violates the Constitution itself. This is not neutrality. This is the inertia of discrimination dressed up as equality. I have the privilege to represent the beautiful state of Louisiana. It is a state of contradiction and yet of deep courage. The birthplace of Plessy versus Ferguson, but also of resistance. The Baton Rouge bus boycotts that inspired Dr. King himself in Montgomery. In my work with the ACLU, I often think about the sons and daughters of our movement. Dr. Ronnie Moore, now some 80 years old, the son of Louisiana, he was a member and founding member of the Congress on Racial Equality, a hero of our civil rights movement who risked his life registering voters. Dr. Ronnie is famous for these words: "You have to know what time it is." And my friends, we know what time it is. It's time to march, not retreat. It's time to resist the inertia of discrimination that tells us to stand still. It's time to resist the powers that tell us to sit down when we know we must stand up and fight back. It's time to defend the Constitution, not just for minorities, communities, but for all people. This is what we must do. The law, I believe, the law at its best is an act of love. A promise that we belong to one another and that every voice matters. But love, like justice, requires motion. We can't stand still. It requires us to push against the inertia of discrimination that would hold us in place. This case will show whether we remain a nation becoming or a nation retreating. My grandmother knew what time it was. Dr. Ronnie knows what time it is. And I know what time it is. Do you know what time it is? If you know what time it is, then say it's time to move. Say with love, with courage, with purpose, we will make justice real in Louisiana and all across this nation. Thank you so very much.
If you can give me one moment before we disperse, I want to thank a gentleman who I just saw, and that is Anthony Romero. Come on, back out the car. Yes, my brother. He won't say it himself, but Anthony has been such a stalwart supporter and a partner in arms in this moment. And I just want to say directly to you and your amazing team how honored I am to be in partnership with you, Anthony Romero, the president of the ACLU, our co-counsel in this case, and as I said, my comrade in arms in every fight for justice. Thank you. I also want to thank Maya Wiley, who helped to organize the rally. She is the president and CEO of the Leadership Conference, and so thank you. There are so many other people. I'm going to stop there, but these two I had to mention, and to thank our team at the Legal Defense Fund, the Cali team, who honestly have lifted me and supported me beyond measure in preparation. Nobody does any of this alone. And so the entire LDF staff, I want to thank you for your grace and forbearance. And I will just leave you with the words of our founder, Thurgood Marshall. This is our democracy. It is ours. Make it, protect it, and pass it on. Thank you.
We thank everybody for coming out today. If you have any media inquiries, please reach out to myself. My name is Troy Barnes, or Ella Wiley from ACLU, or Jesse Vad from ACLU Louisiana. Our information can be found on the media advisory, or you can catch me before I head out. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
All right, thank you.
Preachers